most of my career I've been in sales, but real estate I think is not more sales.
A lot of clients that I have that just tell me, this guy told me this, this, and that, and he thought I was stupid enough to believe it. No one is stupid enough to believe it.
A bare minimum to entry, like there has to be a threshold for you to become a real estate broker.
Oh, yeah. Damn, I just bargained not working 8 hours a day to working 24 hours a day.
Property consultant.
What would you like to be? Welcome to Power Talks by Mayfair Properties. I'm your host, Chief, alongside
Mo Amjad.
and today we're just going to be talking to you guys about just our general experiences in the real estate market, stories from agents and buyers, and then we might discuss a few things happening in the market.
Yeah, we have a couple of stories from ourselves, stories from clients, stories from other agents. So tune in.
So tell me, how long you been in the market for, man?
Well, I've been in the market for the past 3 years. Obviously, I did sales before in Sudan, in the UAE, and also in India. So most of my career I've been in sales, but real estate I think is not more sales, it's more consultation. Although I do not like to be referred to as a property consultant.
What would you like to be?
I mean, I'm a property broker. I'm a real estate agent. All these things that people shy away from because they cannot own up to them.
Okay,
You get me?
I can see that. I can see that. I met a few agents that had the property consultant mindset, and I met a few that had the broker's mindset. So I can see why you would like to put yourself into that category.
Okay.
I myself see myself as a mix of both. For me, real estate is not just being a property consultant or broker. My experience is under 2 years.
Okay.
Under 2 years, I've been in Dubai for the past year plus. I've done it in Sudan a little bit. I've done it in Kuwait. Kuwait's market is a bit of a tough one.
How is it though?
You can't purchase
You
unless
can't.
you're a Kuwaiti.
They don't have the concept of freehold properties.
No,
Okay.
they
So
don't
it's,
have that concept at all.
so you're mostly like a rental agent
Yeah, we
representing
had to
the
do
landlord
rentals.
and trying to like find people who are going to rent, blah 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 stuff.
Basically, yeah, we had to like work in under companies that had property management for different properties, and we rent out these properties. But as far as selling and pitching, you didn't have that.
Interesting.
But I did do it a few times in Sudan.
Well, in Sudan, we both know, like it's mostly Sudanese people.
Most of the
they're
deals
trying
are
to, like,
conducted while you're sipping on tea in the middle of the street,
absolutely.
so it's fun.
Okay,
It's interesting.
so what do you think the role of a real estate broker slash agent slash property consultant should ideally look like in the Dubai market?
You got to be professional. You got to deal with your clients with respect. Don't try to outsmart your clients.
Okay.
Don't do that. I've met a lot of agents that try to like be slick with it. They try to like outsmart the clients, but that just
Never works,
that
doesn't
just
it?
irritates them. The amount of clients that I have that just tell me, this guy told me this, this, and that, and he thought I was stupid enough to believe it. No one is stupid enough to believe it.
Okay.
Appreciate the fact that your clients do have the intelligence to take them to the investor level, and you're still at the broker level. So like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. You know what I mean?
Well, understandable, but I think, in my opinion, the market lacks, number one, a bare minimum to entry. Like there has to be a threshold for you to become a real estate broker.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's number one. Number two, people need to be knowledgeable of Dubai before they start selling Dubai. Because what I've noticed about most of the fresher agents is, these fresher agents, they come fresh off the boat, fresh off the plane or whatever. They conduct their interviews. Obviously, first interview, you're in. Come here, this is a phone, this is a SIM card. These are the numbers. Start calling them and start pitching them either Damak, Amar, Nakhil, or one of the top developers.
Yeah.
What about locations? What about do you know what are the
Profit
public attractions?
projections.
That also is like like there's I
That's
think
an advanced level.
I think there's like this sheet of paper that says, listen, if you invest in Dubai's off-plan market, you get 20 to 30% returns Your
8%
ROI is
ROI.
going to be 8 to 10%. Holiday homes, you're going to be doing 10 to 15%. And nobody actually just facts checks it.
I have a friend of mine, you know, his name is Nassar.
Okay.
I think you know Nassar is one of
Yeah.
those really good agents.
Shout out Nassar from Samana Developments.
If y'all ever want anything from Samana, Nassar is the person for you guys.
No, we are the person for you guys going through Nassar.
True. That's true. Basically,
But yeah.
Nassar told me is like real estate is the job for those that cannot find a job anywhere else. So
Absolutely
that's why
true.
everybody thinks that they can do it.
Absolutely true.
When in reality, this is a much harder job than you can think of. Like I used to come from like a 9 to 5 background.
Okay.
I did the 9 to 5. I hated working 8 hours a day. But then I got into real estate and realized, damn, I just bargained not working 8 hours a day to working 24 hours a day.
As you were telling me, Nassar was telling you that it's the
It's
job of the
basically a
jobless.
job for the job of the jobless.
Job of the
Yes,
jobless.
100%.
I
And it made
understand.
so
I mean,
much sense.
I mean, it makes sense because obviously when you're coming from like your home country, you're in Dubai, you're trying to like, get that visa happening and
You'd
you
accept
think that
anything at that point.
exactly, you think that okay, if I secure my first job, I secure my visa. Little do you know that most of these real estate companies out there require you to conduct a deal being uncertified, not on a visa, not on any sort of like, a cushion, there's no net, there's no safety, anything, and they require you to conduct a deal first for them to initiate your process. This puts real estate agents, in my opinion, in a very tight predicament. Now, you're trying to advise someone to the best of your abilities while the clock is ticking. And you might like start incurring fines, you might start, facing these problems where you do not have a Emirates ID, you don't know where to rent, you're paying for holiday homes, it's more expensive than yearly contracts, and it's bad for everyone. It's bad for the agent, bad for the company, and it's bad for the clients, obviously, ultimately.
Yeah.
So
I remember when I first started off, I came with that mindset. I was like, okay, let me just secure a job, get my visa ready and everything sorted, and then I can figure out what I'm trying to do.
okay,
And
how did it work out for you?
Bro, I went to that interview. That was the funnest interview I think I've ever had. Because the minute I walked into the office, what am I hearing? I'm hearing 50 Cent in the club. I was like, okay, this is the place for me. Let me see what that's like. I entered that interview and I was talking to the guy. I was like, how long have you been into real estate? The interview turned out to me asking him how long he's been in real estate for and why he even chose real estate.
By the way, guys, these are the true traits of a real estate broker. You go, you get interviewed, then you interview the interviewer. Just saying.
That's what he told me. He's like, you're selling me now, so I think you can sell it. You can sell anything. And we started speaking. Here's the catch. I thought I'm gonna get my residency automatically. Like once I signed my contract, and he's like, no, you're gonna have to close the deal first. So you got a month to close your deal for you to get your residency. I was like, oh my God. I gotta wait a whole month and then see if I'm lucky enough to get a deal and then see if I can get the visa. But luckily, thank God, I managed to close. My first deal was in my 27th day. And then I got my residency. I realized then, it's only after closing my first deal, I realized, okay, I think real estate is for me.
Okay.
I think this is where I can like, because I'm a people person, I like dealing with people. I don't like these office jobs. I'll be 100% honest with you. So I closed my first deal, cashed out that first commission.
Okay.
And that was more money than I would have ever made from a salary job.
Wow.
I was fully convinced. I was like, if it has like bricks to it, some cement to it, somebody can live in it, I'm definitely selling it. I can't do anything else about it.
I mean, not in your case, Mr.
Yeah.
Off-Plan.
I do off plan for a reason.
There is no bricks, no cement yet, so.
There will be.
But yeah, obviously and ultimately. But my story is a little bit different. Well, obviously, I was born and raised here. I went outside of the UAE for the first time just to get like my university degree.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, I was like, okay, what do I want to do? And it was like, obviously, I didn't want to do like a government job. I didn't want to do like private job. The only thing that was like, close enough to this was real estate. And fun fact is, I was watching $1 Million Listing back then.
That's
New
how
York.
I learned everything.
You see, everybody like it starts from $1 Million Listing.
Yep.
So I was watching $1 Million Listing back then, and I was just so fascinated with how these real estate brokers are showing these houses, how they are like driving these Range Rovers,
And they're so well spoken. So
I
well
mean,
spoken.
To each their own personality. For example, I was watching Frederick Eklund, and Eklund was like, you could tell his accent was thick.
Yeah.
Sirhan, on the other hand, was like,
Smooth with it.
smooth with it,
Yeah.
but like he had the gray hair thing going on for him.
It's gray
Daniel
or white hair?
Ortiz,
It's white hair.
it's white or gray, I don't know.
It's weird. Okay.
Anywho, so Daniel Ortiz was like, that little Puerto Rican guy who's doing his thing. He was full of energy and full of life and everything. And I was like, okay, everybody's been telling me to shut up my whole life and like not be so energetic. So how can I leverage that into like earning? And that's when it hit me, and it was just like real estate. And when it comes to like visa, residency, and stuff like that, I knew more than most of the real estate agents who are just coming in right now. So I knew that you can, like pay for your extension, for your visa and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I was rather doing that than trying and push and like just secure any deal. And this is why it took me like 4 months to secure my first deal. But
Something I noticed early starting, because I learned most of my real estate through the $1 million listings and just asking those veterans, the pioneers of the market, people from Ben Bendari to Anthony Joseph to Firas Msadi to Ronan Rahim. These were the people that I was first introduced to as like, okay, these are the sharks of the market at the time.
okay.
And I asked them, I was like, what do you guys do? How you guys stand out? What makes it different? And I accumulated like these characteristics, and I realized that most agents, they memorize, but they don't understand.
Absolutely.
Like
1000%.
they all say the exact same thing in the same exact way.
Absolutely.
This is going to give you 30 to 40% capital appreciation, and this is going to give you 80% ROI.
Yeah.
You know what's one question that's given to these agents that just puts them against the wall?
Uh-huh.
How is it going to give me that appreciation? How is it going to give me that ROI?
When it comes down to breaking numbers
All
and
of a
stuff.
sudden, you
like
start
that.
hearing crickets. You're like, that's what the developer told me.
Okay.
The developer
okay.
told me it'll give me 30 to 40% capital appreciation, and the market is booming, so it's going to give me 8% ROI. But there's studies, there's projections, there's neighboring neighborhoods that have what's called, you can see how they're actually operating at the moment. Do they actually generate the ROI? Do they not? At first, I thought every single ROI in the market is going to be 8% plus. Only for me to realize later on, some areas give you 6%, some areas give you 7%, some areas even give you as low as 5.5. It just depends on the market. You got to study it. You, for example, you put me on into how to study the map.
Okay.
If it wasn't for you, I don't think I would have understood that map because you were very good with it. You sat me down. You're like, remember when you sat me down? You're like, yo, listen, the map is this way. These are the roads. This is
These are
what
the
you need
roads.
to understand.
Absolutely.
I took these areas next to these roads and I started doing the property monitor thing. And I even have an account at the time. You gave me your account. And I went to the property monitor account and I started looking at the index of the ROIs and how much the rental income is and how much is the capital appreciation that is projected on each and every single area based on the community index bar, the one that's on the right side.
Yeah. How much ROI they make
Yeah.
and how much capital appreciation they've seen in the past couple of years.
I realized, okay, so then as I'm speaking to my agents, to my clients, every time I speak to a client, I always ask them after the deal, even if it goes through or if it doesn't go through, what could I have done that would have made this experience better for you? What do you think I would have lacked? Because that's the only way that I can get better.
In my opinion, how you should start is by looking outside.
Yeah.
So for us real estate brokers, obviously there's different types. So there's property consultants, the
Yes.
ones who work with the developer closely. These are the ones that understand a couple of developers, good developers. They have nice projects in nice areas. They're doing their thing. And then you have the real estate agents. And these are either listing agents who are, like in charge of a property. They're listing it. They're trying to get as many viewings as they can just so they can sell it. Or you have buyer's agents. And sometimes, sometimes you find a buyer in the street. Sometimes the buyer is your cousin. Sometimes the buyer is your like relative or whatever. And then on the other hand, you have these brokers, the ones that you come to them with like a fresh idea. You don't know what you want to do. You just have a little idea that, okay, I want to secure something for the future. Maybe I want to like, put my family in a place where they're like, safe if I'm
Yeah.
gone or like if I leave Dubai or something like that.
Security.
And then from there, they start everything, like they understand you financially, number one. Are you a cash buyer? Are you a mortgage buyer? Are you a payment plan buyer? And then from there, if you're like a cash buyer, they tell you, okay, you put the cash here, you don't put the cash there. And if you're a mortgage buyer, they go ahead and link you with their mortgage advisor. You get your pre-approval,
Yeah.
you have your 20% in check, and then you go property shopping.
Speaking
And then,
about that, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Because for some reason, I have never seen somebody more passionate about mortgages than you. Why? Why are you so passionate about that? I would love to know.
Mortgages are leverage at the end of the day, and in real estate, leverage is key. Yes, our mortgage process in Dubai is still fresh and young, but also mortgages are how you make a substantial amount of money from the most like little
least
amount
amount,
of
yeah.
money you can like put out there. So basically, you'll only be paying 20% down payment. The bank will take care of the 2%, the 4% DLD. They will take care sometimes of the trustee office fees and add it into your mortgage. And then you'll have a longer time to sort that out while you are building your portfolio, your assets, and just throw in a little bit of equity every month, like 2,000, 5,000 per month. And you keep it pushing. And in most cases, the tenant takes care of that payment for you, and you're left with like 1,000 dirham per month. So imagine putting down, like, let's say in the case of 1,000,000 dirhams, 200,000 dirhams, and then every month you're getting 1,000 dirhams while your property is appreciating in value,
Yeah.
and your mortgage is being sorted. So it's a way.
Don't you think that like kind of limits you sometimes just only to like ready properties?
I mean, sometimes yes, but developers nowadays are picking up on people who are end users who are trying to own their own properties. And this is why they're offering them the 2080 payment plan, your 3070 payment plan, your post handover payment plan. And yes, these payment plans do come with their own advantages and disadvantages, but at the end of the day, developers are trying to sell their stocks. People are trying to own houses. They don't want to rent forever, and this is the way the cookie crumbles. But let's move it and shake it a little bit. How about we start telling the stories of the people who have sent them to us? Does that sound good?
Before we do that,
Okay.
how about you tell us a story of how you concluded your first deal and what was the most difficult part for you where you felt like, okay, at this moment I might lose this deal.
That
And
was
you
a
had to
long
think out
time
of the
ago,
box to
man.
figure
That was a long time ago, man.
So
Okay, I remember my first deal was in Creek Gate. It was in Tower 2. It
Okay.
was a unit on the first floor. I'm not gonna say the number of the unit,
Yeah.
but it's a one bedroom. The seller was in distress. He was trying to sell his unit before the handover payment. Well, I actually went and did the snagging with him, and there was like 3, 4 other agents that were just cold call. Back then cold calling was fine, by the way, guys. So I called the hell out of that client,
basically,
picked them up, did the listing, went for the snagging and everything. I think it sat with me for like a month or two, and I didn't understand how long it takes for you to sell like a unit in real estate and how long the process takes. And every week that property sat with me, I was like, okay, why is it not selling? I mean, why am I not getting offers? What's happening? What am I doing wrong?
yeah.
And then I understood that, listing a property requires time. You need to go take proper pictures. You need to put it on, Property Finder, Beirut, Dubizzle, all these things. You need to like have it on your story every couple
Proper
of
pieces
weeks.
is very important.
Absolutely, you gotta have it on your like story every couple of weeks. You need to send it as broadcast to your
Yeah.
previous investors, your fellow real estate agents, and so on. So long story short, I pick up a buyer from another broker who used to share the apartment that I was living in Business Bay with me. That guy had the buyer, I had the seller. We negotiated, and I remember I was about to close the deal, and when we wanted to sign the contracts, my company closed.
What?
So
What?
yeah,
Wait, run that back.
yeah, my company closed.
Run that back. What do you
Just
mean
like
your
you heard
company
it,
closed
the
when you were about
company
to
was
close the deal?
closing. I was going to close the deal towards the end of the month. The company closed on the 18th of, it was August that time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was August. So 18th of August, the company shut down, and I had to conduct a deal with the other broker's company, and yeah, the rest was history. I've been
So
selling real estate ever since.
let me get this straight. You were busting your ass,
Yes.
grinding and grinding
4 months straight.
4 months straight. And the minute you got this close,
This close. It wasn't even this close. I was like still calling my managers because at that time I didn't know anyone else. I had no guidance. I had like no one to tell me what to do. I didn't know contract A, I didn't know contract B, I didn't know contract F, NOC, blah blah blah,
yeah.
this and that, none of that.
So you got this close.
This close and
Oh, by the way,
thing,
I'm sorry. I know you're about to close your deal that you've been working 4 months for, but
they
guess
didn't
what?
even ask me. I mean,
Company's gonna close.
the manager was a very close friend of mine back then. I mean, like we developed that relationship, and like he saw that I was grinding the hardest. So
Man, I
he
would have
took
been
me to the
fuming.
he took me to the staircase where we smoked cigarettes most of the time, and he was like, "Listen, I have news for you." I was like, "What is it? Is it about my deal? Is somebody gonna take it for me?" Because I was also worried.
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, it's bigger than this." I was like, "What?" He was like, "The company's closing, so there's no papers for you to conduct the paperwork."
So it's not, nobody's taking your deal. It's just that we can't.
There's no deal. There was gonna be no deal to be had. But anywho,
would've
let's
been
go back to the
fuming, man.
to the stories of the
Wow.
people who have sent us on our Instagram. So basically, we've asked people in our Instagram to send us stories, and I got a nice number. I mean, about brokers, about buyers, sellers, and so on. But would you like to start, Mo?
Let's hear it from you.
Okay, so the first story I'm gonna go with is the Rayan story. Rayan is a very good friend of mine, and Rayan tells me that getting bombarded with calls is something that I cannot withstand. So basically, you know it, you sign up to an advertisement. Hello, this is so and so from so and so. You inquired about so and so. What would you like? I mean, guys, try to build a connection with the person that you're talking to. This person is a human being. They inquired because there is something interesting that they saw. So when I look at an advertisement, sometimes as a real estate broker, I don't have all the information about all the projects in Dubai. This is absolutely impossible. There's millions of projects around. So when I see something interesting, whether it be the payment plan, whether it be the design of the building, whether it be the location of the building, try to understand what your client is looking for. And then from there on, see where it goes, you know? Real estate might not be the thing for the person that's on the phone with you. At the end of the day, they're still a lead at this point. They're not a bona fide client who's looking to buy. So just a little bit of time, man. This is my advice to the clients out there and the brokers out there. Try to talk to each other more and don't assume. Brokers don't assume that buyers are not going to buy and sellers are not going to sell. And sellers and buyers don't assume that brokers are only. Oh, I think we have a deal being closed in the
Somebody just
office.
closed the deal.
Amazing.
Well, congratulations for that.
Congratulations. And yeah, I mean, sellers and buyers don't assume that brokers are only here just to like, you know, take my money or like take my property and like,
Yes,
you know,
100%.
like, do whatever.
So, sometimes the broker actually looks out for you.
Absolutely.
Like I've
Absolutely.
seen sales developers try to upsell you things just because for them you're just a target.
Absolutely.
But I've seen some God fearing agents. I'll tell you God fearing agents why, because they see that you've actually this is all your hard earned money. It's not
Absolutely.
investing is not an easy thing. It's a risk. It's a risk
Absolutely.
that requires commitment. That requires you to be ready for it and to have a nice risk appetite towards it.
Absolutely.
And I've seen some God fearing agents, man, that they simply go ahead to the client and they tell them, listen. I know the sales developer is trying to offer you $4 million for this two bedroom corner unit, but no, for you it would be best for you to get that 1 bedroom that's for like 2.8. Doesn't put you in financial strain. It doesn't cause you much of a risk. Allows you to have some financial freedom with you. You don't have to put all your eggs into one basket. I've seen them actually look out for the client, and
Absolutely.
I think that's how you build a relationship.
Absolutely.
That's what makes clients appreciate you more. They want to deal with you more because they trust you now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So tell me, She was bombarded with calls all the time.
Yeah, she's saying that she's being bombarded with calls and like, these people are just calling to try to push whatever. And listen, sometimes you don't have to push. Sometimes you just gotta pull, You gotta like conduct your market research, get your knowledge up, get your information up, and get your networking up, If you talk to enough people are gonna be interested, and you can then conduct the deal. And the second thing that she asked about was not getting the deposit back. Do you have any stories
What?
of not getting the deposit back?
What do you, in a
She's
rental?
saying she's in a rental she's not getting her deposits back most of the time.
Did she ruin the apartment?
I don't think she ruined the apartment because I
Because
know
I know
Rayan.
Ryan. She's an organized person that takes care of every
Absolutely.
detail. So
I think in that case, she just paid the deposit in cash, and this is a big mistake.
okay, something I'm gonna tell you guys. This is mostly for the investors. Never give an agent payment in cash. Make sure you give it to the proper places that's supposed to go to, whether it's the developer or whether it's the buyer. Never pay without knowing where the money is going to exactly. Never buy a property if there is no escrow account to secure you. Agents that are dealing in off-plan, and I've seen this happen quite a lot because they utilize and take advantage of the fact that the client
There's a
doesn't really
payment
know,
plan and an
it's a
EOI
national
and
payment.
stuff like that. Yeah.
They tell imagine you're selling an off plan and they tell the client who's an international client, you're gonna have to pay me commission as well. You never pay the agent commission if you're purchasing an off plan property. The developer covers the commission. As far as the secondary market, when it comes to ready properties, the standard is the usual as we know, which is a
The market
2%
norm is 2% to
buyer
to
or seller or both of them.
depending on how you negotiate
Exactly.
the deal, who gets a better offer, how much is being put on the table,
Exactly.
stuff like that.
Exactly.
But my only advice in that case would be is always fact check everything. Try to go to a registered company with a proper office registered number. Try to go and like every cash payment that you make. Sometimes you can you do make these cash payments.
Yes, you do.
Like you're renting, you still don't have a checkbook, you don't have a bank account, you have the money in cash. It's your first salary. You're trying to like rent your first house. Go to a real estate company. Talk to a proper agent, somebody who has their broker registration number, and when you make that deposit payment, just get a receipt. Once you get that receipt, you're guaranteeing your money back, whether it's after 1 year, 2 years, or if you extend the contract up to like 3 or 4 years.
Ask for an invoice every single time you make a payment.
Always.
Ask for an invoice.
Always.
This is for you investors and buyers. Your money's hard work, don't lose it. So this agent contacts me
Okay.
and he tells me, listen, this was his story about how he started to conclude his first deals.
Okay,
He
so
was
it's
doing
a
the
first
market.
deal story.
It's a fresh agent.
These are always the best
It's the
stories,
fresh
man.
agent. And he was like, I was dealing with this other agent. And this other agent told me that he has a beachfront property for sale.
Okay.
And he's talking to a lead that he got from the system. The lead in the system told him that he's looking for beachfront properties. The budget is this much.
Okay, so
you know the whole
so
yada, yada, yada.
your friend has the buyer, and there's another agent who has
The property.
the prop. Okay, perfect.
This agent is brand new. He
Okay.
doesn't know better. What he does is he starts hyping up the property to the
To the
owners,
buyer, yeah.
to the buyers, and he's like, beachfront property, it has the nice beach sunset.
Okay, within your
poolside
budget,
view, within your budget,
this
you're
and
gonna
that.
love it. And they get all excited. So the couple start like, okay, they're fantasizing about their lifestyle now. They're looking okay.
Yeah,
Beach
waking
sunsets,
up, coffee
the whole
in the
9 yards.
balcony.
Oh, and
you
he's
know,
gonna love the
baby.
sun. I can't believe I'm gonna get tanned and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Everyone is there.
Okay.
So the other agent sends him the location, and he tells him this is the beachfront property. It should be ready in like 2 years.
Okay.
And it was like an off-plan resale.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like you're getting the best of the payment plan.
Yeah.
And it wasn't you're getting like ready right now. It was.
Mate, let me finish.
Uh-huh.
So he's like, we get the location. He goes ahead and he picks up the couple, and
Okay.
he's on his way there, and he's overselling the property to them.
Okay.
Don't oversell people.
Okay.
Don't oversell. So he starts overselling it to them. As they go to the location, I think the other agent mistook what beachfront property means.
Okay.
Beachfront property means the property needs to have a beach in front of it or next to it.
No Crystal Lagoon. no swimming pool that looks like a beach. No, none of that.
No pond, a full-on beach in
Beach.
front of it.
You know,
You know,
God's ocean.
wave sounds, that type of beach. So they head there, and apparently the other agent takes them somewhere in Dubai South, and he's like, "There's a beachfront property there."
Oh, that's the Pulse residence.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's false residence or what is it exactly, but he takes him to Dubai South, and the agent is starting to think halfway through. He's like, "I see so much sand, I don't see much beach." And then the couple they start like, "Excuse me, where is the beach? Because what we're seeing here is just desert." Little for them to realize that there was no beachfront property.
It's gonna be a crystal lagoon later.
Not
on.
even a crystal lagoon. It was specifically just a property in the middle of the desert at the time.
Wow. Wow.
And you know what he tells? You know how he bounces back from it?
Okay.
He's like, looks like the beach is not ready to let us in right now. So let's go back before the dolphins start waving in the sand.
Objection handling basically at its finest.
He basically broke some ice. They started laughing about it. So they go back, and then they start looking at other beachfront properties.
Okay.
He starts maneuvering a little bit here and here, talking to his directors, until he managed to finally find them MR Beachfront.
Okay.
They saw MR Beachfront.
Okay.
There was an actual beach to it,
I mean,
and he ended up concluding his first deal.
wow. Wow. Congratulations to him. I
Moral of the
guess.
story: check the unit before you take the client there, because
Yeah.
you don't want to be put in that position.
My
You want-
only takeaway out of this is, this is Dubai's real estate market. Yes, the market is highly regulated. Yes, the DLD tries to do everything and make everybody's life easier, whether it be brokers, whether it be companies, buyers, sellers. But at the end of the day, there is a certain level of due diligence that you have to
and intelligence.
yes. There's a certain level of due diligence that you have to just take care of. You have to go, you have to, for example, if they're looking for a certain location, you have to go check the location first. You have to check the ROI, the service charge, the rents, this and that, before you go and pitch that project to your next
And
buyer.
always show up to your meetings before the client.
Yes, but also that depends on what happens. If you're on Hassa Street,
You can just forget about it.
yeah.
Unless you're moving like 2-3 hours ahead.
Anywho, let me start with one of my funny stories, or not so funny stories. I'm not gonna mention the name of the client because we are working on a deal right now.
Nice one. Nice one.
But we have actually it's two things. So it's first things first. It's about the apartment he's renting right now. So the apartment he's renting right now, what he told me is he was specifically looking for a 2-bedroom apartment around the area of Al Barsha, JVC, JVT, and these areas. And he was working obviously with a rental agent. The rental agent, I don't know his situation, but he showed him an apartment. And the client asked, was it 1,000 square feet in livable area, suite area, and carpet area? And then the agent was like, yes. Okay, he gives out the deposit, he gives out the first payment, he gives out the commission check and everything.
He does everything he needs to.
He does everything he needs to do.
Okay.
He followed the process. He had his Emirates ID. Everything was perfect for him.
Yeah.
Comes the Ijari part. And when the Ijari comes, obviously in the Ijari, the information is taken from the title deed. And when the information is taken from the title deed, you can't fuck
can't
about
play with
around it. Yeah. You
Can't
can't
play
fuck
with
with it. So he looks at the size of the apartment, and the apartment is 800 square feet. And he's like, okay, I'm stuck right now. I mean, there's nothing to do. I need to move out from the place I told him I'm gonna move out from. I need to move into this new apartment, and I already paid the deposit, the commission, the first payment, and everything. And obviously, he signs the Ijari. He just hands the guard. Khalas, there's nothing to do. And he calls the agent after that, and he's like, hello? And then he's like, okay, yes, this is the agent. What do you want? And he's like, I'm the guy that rented the apartment from you. And he's like, yes, how can I help you? And he's like, the apartment is not 1,000 square feet. And basically, the tenant was only asking for an apology, because I trusted you, you lied to me, you betrayed my trust.
You lack information. Own up to it.
I don't know if it's he lacked information or he willingly just like, bent the truth a little bit, but I'm not gonna assume. But he was just asking for an apology, and the guy was like, "I'm not gonna apologize." And the tenant was like, "Why are you not gonna apologize? You lied to me." And then he was like, "I showed you the apartment." And little does he know that we don't walk around with like, measuring tapes with us as brokers or whatever.
Yeah.
We have these systems that are put in place for us to like, check the service charge, such as like, the service charge index. You have, for example, the floor plans, you have the title deed and all these things. So yeah, I mean, he didn't want to apologize, and he probably spent that commission on something that was worth it for him.
At least he didn't want to
He
apologize.
lost the client, though, at the end of the day.
He lost the client, and at least the fact that he didn't want to apologize, he didn't even make it worse. I have a client that you know very well
Okay,
that I'm working with right now, also in hopes of concluding more deals in the future.
okay,
He made a purchase with another agent because the property was sold to him in a way that he really liked. And he didn't check with me, he didn't check with anybody.
okay,
And he went ahead to go buy it. And he told him the property's for like 1.6, the property size is this much and everything. So my client made the purchase. You know him, he's always like, if he finds something that he likes and seems nice, he's just going to go for it and make the
okay.
purchase.
Yeah,
He makes the purchase.
okay.
And then he realized that the unit is not like described whatsoever. Not
No
size-wise, not even layout-wise,
No way.
nothing. He goes and speaks to the company owner. He's like, listen, your agent told me this, and that, and I'm going to go ahead and just cancel everything. I'm just not capping.
Okay.
You know what the agent tells him?
The owner of the company.
Yeah.
Okay.
The agent that works for the owner of the company
Okay.
that sold my client this. He's like, this is real estate. It's a dirty business. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that.
It is a dirty business, but it's not that dirty. If you're
It's
trying to
not
like
that
foster long-term relationships with these clients, because to be honest, yes, you might need this deal right now. You might need that commission. Rent
Yes.
is due, your car payment is due, or whatever. But at the end of the day, today's tenants are tomorrow's buyers, and
yes.
tomorrow's buyers are tomorrow's, like, real estate investors.
Yes.
So it's, for me personally, I frown upon burning any bridges.
Definitely. Never burn no bridges. You never know. These clients could end up being your friends. They can be
Absolutely.
very close friends
Absolutely.
to you. They
Absolutely.
can guide you. They can advise you. Their feedback is what makes you become better.
Absolutely, that's a thing. But coming back to another story, and this time let's try and see one of my broker friends. Okay, so this is a good one. This is from Nadia Mjati.
Okay,
Nadia
I know
Mjati
Nadia.
is a good friend of mine. She works with luxury properties.
Yeah.
She's a perfect agent. I mean, when it comes to professionalism, when it comes to like having all your information,
She's an honest to God person.
she's a professional agent. She keeps the standards very high. So I try to look up to her and learn from her also. So she's saying that the thing that pisses her off the most is brokers being unprofessional and being too greedy and putting themselves before their clients. What are your, I mean, before I start telling the story, what are your takes on that?
My takes, we tend to be selfish. Brokers tend to be selfish at times. Agents tend to be selfish.
Okay.
But no matter how selfish you get, you never put yourself before the buyer. Never,
Okay.
ever put yourself before the buyer. When I take my clients to, for example, for offline purchases and stuff like that, I take the developer. Brother, I fight this developer like crazy.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I put the developer in a corner. And I'm like, listen, my client's getting this, and that. If you don't get it, we're not going for it. And I press to the point that sometimes my clients will just speak to him. You give me this,
That's
you
how
do
it's
this,
supposed
you
to
do
be,
that.
honestly.
I go all out when it comes to the developers. Because when my clients know that I'm fighting for them, I'm willing to do whatever I can for them,
Okay.
they're more inclined to like realize, okay, they're in good hands.
Okay.
And keep in mind,
They feel safe. I mean,
this is like their first meeting with me. They still don't know me like that. So they need to understand that, yes, you came to a first meeting with me, but you're going to leave realizing that this is an agent that's going to fight for you till the last breath until I get you the unit that you want with the best offer possible. And if I have to squeeze all of my relationships at the developer to make sure that you get what you need to get, it's definitely going to happen.
wow.
I'm not taking no for an answer. So
Yeah,
don't
absolutely.
put yourself ahead of the buyer. Don't do that.
Absolutely. Always put the clients first, and this is how you're gonna progress. This is how your career is gonna grow,
Yeah.
and this is how you're gonna actually like stay in the market for.
As far as the market updates, the market is overwhelming, man. The amount of projects that are launched on a regular
Yeah,
basis
absolutely.
it's fascinating. It's fascinating for me to be in a city where it's constantly working on just adding new projects to the market.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the market, man, I think it all boils down to the government's vision of having more people come to Dubai and settle here and just like be established to like conduct business, raise their families, and contribute to the GDP of the city. And obviously, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid is a very visionary leader. He is a pioneer when it comes to like maximizing the amount of time that we have
Yeah.
in Dubai to give out our best. So more people are coming in, more people would need housing, and actually the developers are launching a lot of projects, but they still can't keep up.
Speaking of His Highness being a visionary leader, did you realize that the Museum of the Future, the Arabic writings on it, is the country's vision?
Is it?
I realized
I've
that like
never
a
paid
few days
attention.
ago.
I've
You
never
know how
paid attention.
fascinating that is for me to name the Museum of the Future and then to have the architecture detailing the vision.
Wow, that's a fun fact that I
It's,
learned today.
it's amazing for me.
You
It's
learn something
honestly
new every
amazing for me.
day. So yeah, guys, this is the podcast. Mayfair underscore properties dot ae is what you need to follow. Your
If you guys have anything you want to add to the podcast, anything you would like to hear, you can just go follow it over there and just write your comments down below. I would be more than happy to address it. You guys want more market updates from me, from Mo. Mine
guys,
is Chief MOEA.
this
Yours
is
is
Mo Amjad RE, and it was a pleasure.
This is Power Talks by Mayfair Property.